Are you wondering what the childcare options in the UK are? Are you wondering which are the best, how much it costs, and is it really that expensive? In this video I'm going to explain all the childcare options that are available and how much they might roughly cost. Hi guys, my name is Sissy and I'm a Ghana medical doctor working in the UK, and I had a lot of the biggest struggle that you can have in the UK is actually childcare. So when I first came to the UK, the first thing that I did was speak to someone who was here, and he first asked me, do you have kids? And I said no, and then he said, great, that's going to make it so much easier. So from the beginning I was so worried. I was like, oh my god, this childcare, how bad can it be? So I'm going to explain all the childcare options in the UK here. So it's not that bad, but it's pretty expensive. That's why most people don't have a lot of kids like they do back home, because the cost of childcare back home is way more affordable. Everyone can afford a nanny, so it's not the same in the UK. That's why you'll find that most households have like 1, 2, maybe even 3 kids. That's like the average amount of kids people are having. Maybe even 2 could be the average. Option 1 is a registered childminder. This is someone who looks after children in their own home. So they usually have their own children as well, and so looking after additional ones as well. So the first advantage of this one is that if they're registered with Ofsted, then you're able to apply to use child vouchers with them, or you can apply the 15 or 30 hours that the government provides for you, so you're able to use that with the childminder as well. The next advantage is that they're self-employed, so you don't have to pay for their national insurance or pension contributions. The next advantage with childminder is that many of them are flexible, and so they're able to offer pick up or drop off from school, which makes it easier for you if you're a very busy working family. The number one con for these is that if they are sick or unwell, or if they go on holiday, then obviously you have to get other arrangements, because it is just one person and they can't fall sick, so that can be the problem with that. Option 2 is a day nursery. These take children from about 6 weeks old to about 5 years of age. So the pros for this is that they usually have availability for a longer period. So for instance, they're open all year round, they don't have half term, and for longer hours. It's typically from around 8 AM to 6 PM. So that's the advantage of nurseries as compared to, let's say, preschools, which I'll talk about later. Another pro is that you can use your 15 to 30 hours of free childcare that are provided by the government for these. Another advantage is if you're an NHS employee, then you can get an NHS discount as well. The main con for these is that they're usually more expensive than childminders. So nurseries are usually more expensive than childminders. The next option is a nanny. A nanny is someone who looks after children in their own home. So basically they come to your home and they live with you. They might be a live-in or a live-out. It could be part-time or even full-time. They're not necessarily registered, but they can register if they want to. This is voluntary, and if they're registered, then you could potentially use the option of the 15 to 30 hours free child hours from the government. If they're not, then obviously you can't. The main pro for this is that obviously your child is cared for in their own home, so it's maybe a better environment for them to be in. The main con for this is that for a nanny, you're considered their employer, so you have to pay for their national insurance and also pension contributions. You have to make pension contributions for them. The disadvantage is that a nanny is just one person, so if they fall sick, then obviously you also have to find different childcare arrangements. Also, if they go on holiday, then you're left with no childcare. If you like this video up to this point, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want more videos like this, then please make sure you're subscribed. The next option is a live-in au pair. So this is someone usually from Europe who comes to live with you, and usually they're coming to try and learn the local language, they're trying to learn the culture, and then they stay with you as well. This kind of option is obviously cheaper. It's the cheapest option because usually they're considered part of the family. Unfortunately, you can't get the 15 to 30 hours for this kind of option. You also need to consider the cost of their room and board. So obviously if someone is living with you, you have to have another room for them. You have to have also food for them. The next option is preschool or playgroup. These are for usually children about 2 years to 5 years. So the advantage of this is that you get used to a school routine, and then also in my experience as well, when my child moved from nursery to preschool, I felt like preschool was more structured. Like every time she came back from school, it seemed like there's something they've done, something they're learning. It seemed more structured. So it's a good idea to get used to the school routine before going to a big school. The con for this is that you will need alternative cover, because it's just like school, so it means it's from 9 AM to 3 PM, and after that they're closed. Also, they also have half term, so when it's half term, then they also go back. That's the disadvantage with that option. The next option is your own family and friends. So I do know people who have family come from abroad once in a while to help them, but this is obviously not very sustainable. You can't have long-term visit visas. So my own parents do have long-term visit visas. If you've come to the UK after for a number of times, then obviously you can also apply for 2 years and then 5 years and even 10 years visas. So the advantage of this is obviously it's your own parents. They can come and help you once in a while, but it's not something that you can have as a part of your routine, because obviously if you're on a visit visa and you appear to be living in the UK, then that can be counted against you and they might cancel your visa. I also found out in this video that legally you cannot use a friend to look after your children for more than 2 hours a day if they're over the age of 8, unless they're a registered childminder. So that's something that's worth considering. A bit strange, but yeah, that's the UK for you. The next option, and it's the one that I use, is daddy or mommy daycare. So that is basically you and your partner looking after your kids alternatively. So for me personally, my partner initially was working as a care worker, and when we looked at the quotes for the nursery in our area where we live, the entire cost of childcare for one child was almost his entire salary, so it wasn't worth it. So that's why he just looks after the kids. And then the pro for this is obviously you get to spend more time with the children, you get to raise them the way you want them to be, you're very sure of whatever influence they're getting. The main con is obviously getting like exhausted and overwhelmed, because sometimes, you know, kids can be really annoying. So the other thing you can always do is take breaks, and also use friends and family to give you a break at times, and also using babysitters, which is another option I'll talk about next. So babysitters are also another option. So babysitters are usually like childminders or other people who are looking after kids, and they have a higher rate. So there's a local Facebook group for childcare, and the childminders also call themselves babysitters, but the rate for babysitting is usually higher than childminding, and that's because as a childminder it's like more regular. They'll maybe see your kids from like Monday to Thursday or Friday, or specific set routine. But then for babysitting, it's like one-off for like weekends, nights, those kind of things. So babysitting is another option that you can consider. So join these Facebook groups or look around in your community. So in our local church, we also have a play group. So ask around and ask other moms and dads and see what they're using. There is another option of bringing your own nanny, which is not really an option if you're on a tier 2 visa, but it is an option if you're on a visit visa, because I saw on the gov.uk website, I'll link it below, that there's actually a visa called domestic worker visa. So that's where you bring your own like house, your domestic worker to come with you, but usually it's not for more than 6 months, and also you yourself should not be permanently living in the UK, but you should also be here for a short period. So that would be for ideally like maybe if my own parents were traveling and they wanted to come with their own domestic worker, that kind of thing. So if you're here on a tier 2 visa, then it's really not an option for you. The cost of childcare is really expensive, but it also depends on where you are in the country and how old your child is. The younger they are, the more expensive it is. The older they are, the cheaper it tends to get. And I found out that on the average in the UK, the average cost of childcare for nursery for sending a child under 2 is about £138 per week, and that is part-time, so that's only 25 hours in a week. And on average it's about £263 full-time, so that's about 50 hours in a week. How much are you paying where you are? When does it all end? So when a child turns 4 after their first birthday, the September after their first birthday, they can now go to like big school, which is from 9 AM to 3 PM, and obviously you do have to work as well. So usually if work is starting at 9, it's going to be hard for you. So there's something called breakfast club where kids can be taken to school earlier, and then that way you're able to go to work on time. And there's something called after school club. This is where they look after your kids after 3 PM until I think 5 or 6. You can come and pick them up, and the average cost of the after school club is about £62 per week. So it's definitely much cheaper than the other options we've been talking about. So the older they get, the easier it should be, and the more affordable it should be. So hang in there guys, you'll make it. If you liked this video, again, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to watch more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. Thanks guys, bye.